do you actually make money from your personal brand from day one with only a few hundred or thousand followers? Like this lady that Alex Hormozi talked about. I actually found her profile, but let's edit it out. And let's talk about how she did it, because she is one of the many examples that make more than $10,000 a month with only a few hundred followers, and more than $100,000 a month with only a few thousand followers. You see some examples here. Now you probably think that this is impossible for you. At least, to be honest, that's what I thought. But as you know me, I care about truth and effectiveness. And what is the truth? That it works for many others. So it can work for us, we just have to find out how. So that's what I did. So I found out exactly all of the things that they do that are effective, that work, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work. Step by step, how you can actually make over $5,000 a month from 1,000 followers or less without wasting time. Because as I said, you can do a lot of things wrong that simply don't work. And how you can achieve this effortlessly. Because hard work is a myth, simply not effective. Now there's nuance to that, but we get back to that later in the video. I actually made a workshop where I cover everything from A to Z, very practically how you can get there. Just enter in your email below and I will send you an email when it's ready to access. Just make sure you don't make the same mistake as me. Because I went from 0 to 5,000 subscribers in less than 7 months. I got a video with over 1 million views. And you know what I made? Not even $1,000 from it. I'm not the only one. This is a trap that almost every creator falls for. What is it exactly? It's what I call the silly Billy timeline. You may already start it with your personal brand, creating content. Perhaps on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever. And then you make more content for months, perhaps even years. Then what happens? You get a viral video, if at all, because many people don't get there because they quit before that. Because they don't make money from it, which is the ultimate goal they have. Although they think they need to achieve this. It's a belief they have and it's false. Let's say you go viral, like me, actually get a video of, let's say, 100,000 views, or even in my case, over 1 million views. Then what you think, if you don't look in the mirror, I actually need another viral video. And you may get that. You may get multiple of those. And then when they finally look in the mirror and understand, realize with pain, because that's why most people don't realize this, because it hurts. But eventually they realize they may have made $10,000 over years of effort, hard work, sacrifices, which brings me to another point. But before I continue, just don't be a silly Billy like me. It actually brings me to a great truth that I found, is that best life is one with the least amount of sacrifices. And remember, something that looks like a sacrifice to others might not be for you. And the other way around as well. Making this video doesn't feel like a sacrifice to me, but may look like a sacrifice to my brother or friend. So may you get to this point, my friend. Because you don't have to sacrifice your time not going on holidays for years, not visiting those places you want to visit, not spending the time with your family or friends that you may want to. Because hard work doesn't always lead to money, to the right thing. Because, let's be honest, you probably want money, right? And spending more time on the wrong things doesn't work. So what does? Spending time on the right things. How to find them? By ridding yourself of untruth. And then this one goes down, this one goes up. So what is untruth then, you may ask? Well, everything that is a lie. It's that you need to go viral in order to make money. It's that you need at least 100,000 subscribers to make $100,000 a year. It's all those beliefs you have up here. Now you can ask, why are those beliefs there? While they aren't true, there can be many reasons. One of them could be that you only see the people who have this type of audience that make much money. But as you saw in the beginning of this video, there are plenty of creators who have 1,000 followers or even less than that, but make more than those with 100,000 followers, or even those with a few million, because those people are out there. Just look on TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube. So here's what you don't need. You don't need 100,000 followers. You don't need to post daily or even once a week. And you definitely don't need a viral video. You need to make content, whether that's videos or written posts on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever, to the right people. Again, in the workshop, I show you exactly how to find the right people. With that, I mean very practical, hidden secrets that many people don't know and don't use. But to give you the philosophy behind it already, you can look at it like a thermometer. Yeah, and don't laugh about my drawing. So why a thermometer? Because in here, we have cold people. Then of course, once we go down, get to warm people. And then over here, we have hot people, like me. Now what happens if you build an audience, like every silly Billy out there, full of cold people? Then 1 out of 10,000 people buy. And that is 0.01%. And then you have an audience with warm people, where 1 out of 1,000 people actually buy, which is 0.1%. Not bad. And then we have a hot audience, full of the right people, where 1 out of 100 people buys, which is, yes, 1%. This is where we want to be, obviously. Again, in the workshop, I show you exactly how, the practical stuff, but I hope you get the point here. This is what you want to get. And then, of course, if you get a viral video or one with a lot more views than others, where these people are in those views, then, of course, that's effective. Which brings me to a point which you've never considered before. Let's draw it. It is the viral paradox, but not as you think. So what do we have? We have a graph here with views over here and money over here. And here's your belief. The more views I get, the more money I make. That's not true for most people. I have to say that because getting the right video or post to go viral can make you a lot of money. That's not what happens to most. Don't believe me, just look out there or look at your own results if you already got a viral video or multiple like me. So what's the paradox? Well, that this is the case. Actually, the more views you get, the less money you make. Let me explain. What happens here when you get so many views? What are those people usually? Just think about it. Let's go to the extreme. The whole world watches your video. That means everyone. And in order to get that, in order to reach as many people as possible, you go from serious people with money. I don't have an icon to draw that explains seriousness. But you go from serious people who have money to spend, who have high intent to buy, all the way towards a lot of silly billies who are broke, are especially unserious. They simply don't want it. And I mean, just look around you. The world is full of silly billies. What you want is more serious people. And this is what nobody talks about, because in order to reach the masses, aka to go viral, these people will find you, which is not bad. That has consequences. And in order to make a lot of money from a small amount of people, which is very doable and often way easier, you don't want to talk to the masses, you don't want to talk to silly billies. But this is not always true, I have to say that, because think about it. What do silly billies buy? Well, for example, a Netflix subscription. A lot of people have it, and it's not that expensive. But Netflix need a lot of people. So choose your battle. But usually this is much more difficult, especially selling to them and keeping them happy. So just ask yourself, what is easier for you? And I'm not suggesting anything here. I've just found for myself that this 100 people who are serious is much easier to reach than tens of thousands of unserious people. As you know me, always find out for yourself, experiment yourself. That's what I did. I got those viral videos and I made very little money from it. So my lesson doesn't have to be yours. Please think for yourself. After all, it's the only way to find the truth. I've just found for myself that the returns that I get are not correlated to the efforts I put in, which is what many people believe, and I believe for a very long time. People think you need to be in this area where you get a lot of returns because you put in a lot of effort. What I'm interested in is how you can be here. Lots of returns with very little effort, so you actually have time to enjoy your life, right? And then you can do more of the things that work if you want to, if you like to work, which then you don't call it work anymore because it's not effort. But you want to make sure that you're playing the right game. You're playing the viral game. You may look in the mirror and ask yourself why. When I did that, I found out that I actually didn't want the money. I wanted the fame, the recognition. And this is very external, whereas this can be external, but it also can be very internal. Fame, however, can never be external because it doesn't matter if you're the only person in the world. Now you can ask, well, money, how about money then? It also doesn't matter if you're the only person in the world, but you can buy right now a lot of things if you had the money that make you happy, not because then you can show them to others, even though that's fine as well if that's your goal, but because you can experience them, like going on holidays, great places, buying stuff to make yourself more convenient, have lower stress because you don't need to work anymore. I can go on, you know the deal. But when I realized that I didn't want that, and that it actually is not effective, I found out how to get to this. So then how? Well, again, I talk very in depth about the practical things you can do from A to Z in the workshop. But let's already cover this pyramid. Over here, we have content, alright? I'm sure you're convinced that building a personal brand is perhaps the greatest, if not one of the greatest things you can do in your life. That's a belief. I hold that belief. Not for everyone, but I found out for myself that it doesn't fall here, but over here with the least amount of sacrifices on my end. So it fits with what I know, what I like. At the same time, that can be true for anything, even though you may not see it as such yet. With that, I mean, if you don't currently enjoy creating content, that you can actually do that. Just like you can enjoy painting, even though you don't enjoy it right now. Because it's all a belief and can change with time. And to make it faster, you can find the beliefs you hold that aren't true, ridding yourself of untruth. So you have content over here. And this is where already most people get stuck. They make content. And here is the belief why they keep making content. Because they want that viral video. Because they believe that all of the creators they have seen that make a lot of money, which they want, went viral. They have not seen enough creators that make more money than most creators that went viral and do not talk about their money because they don't make any in comparison to those with only a few hundreds, less thousand followers and make way more money. So what is in between here? After content comes capture. Again, in the workshop, I show exactly how to do that. But you have capture, and after that, you have the build, and then you end up with the selling. Again, most people get stuck in this loop. At the same time, a lot of people start here as well. Just look at a lot of startup founders. They start building stuff before they even know it will sell, before they even know it will make them money. Then, once it is built, maybe it takes a few months, maybe a few years, they start to create content. Then they try to capture that content, but then very few people actually want the thing, and they never make money, or not enough, right? Or don't make profit, which is what we care about. So those are two common things that you see happening all the time. And I don't say you have to do it in this order. This can work, right? Going from building, then building content for your personal brand, then capturing that, then selling. Because that has worked. But it's about what is the most effective, fastest way. Because you hear this all the time. Don't take the shortcut, right? There are no shortcuts. But that's just a very, very false belief. When you hear that from someone, there are no shortcuts. You are now believing that. That can cost you a lot of time, because there are shortcuts. I almost get angry because of it. It's such a big lie. There are people in their 20s that make more money than you ever will because they have found something that works. They have found the truth, something that is effective, which is the shortcut. And then you have people who actually want this, really want it, perhaps like you, but will never get there because of untruth. Then of course you have people like Silly Billy who actually don't really want it. Because if I found one thing to be true, it is that one always gets what they want most in their life, given enough time. And the Silly Billies have enough time, the same 24 hours in a day like you. They simply don't really want it. They want other things, and that's fine. I assume you want this. You have to rid yourself of untruth, which is shortcuts are not possible. The truth is that you have things that are effective and things that don't work. Working very hard on the wrong stuff doesn't get you here. So let's talk about the wrong stuff a little bit more, because you may not really see it yet, but you're full of untruth, including me. I'm not special. Just want to say that. So you may think you don't really have a good product to sell, something you can offer. It doesn't have to be a physical thing like this. I won't tell you what this is. It can be anything. A service, information, knowledge, how you can help someone, how you can help people, a company, whatever. You may believe right now that you don't really have something good because you haven't yet made that money, perhaps for other reasons. So what is the truth? You don't know yet the things that are valuable, that others would pay for. Again, I show you exactly from A to Z how to find those things that you already have, not something you have to invent, create. In fact, you're actually losing money right now because you are not selling the stuff that people are willing to pay for. And this unknowing, that could be the shortcut. Because if you knew exactly what you can give that you already have today to someone who pays you money for it right now, then that is a shortcut. So that's the first wrong part here. You think you don't have this, but you do. You actually have more than you think. Not just one thing or two things. And then the second thing, which I've never heard before, it's something I came up with myself. Because again, I care about truth and about finding it. So what is the truth? Well, you make mistakes. You are going to make them, depending on how you look at things, right? But let's say you look at things that go wrong, or failures, like mistakes, and you have made them in the past. What you can actually do is monetize your mistakes. Everyone talks about monetize your product. Sell something, make an offer, $100 million off. Nobody talks about your mistakes. Just think about how valuable those are. Again, in the workshop, I show you exactly how practically, how you can figure that out with tools and stuff. By the way, just free tools. Everyone talks about, because there's a lot of people that offer you their advice and then sell you with their affiliate tools or even with their own software tools. That's not effective, because I assume you make very little money. And if you then start to use paid tools, which can be very expensive right away. I mean, I've lost thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on tools that we didn't really need. So stick with free tools. That's what I care about. And of course, you can always upgrade to paid tools if they really give you a good ROI. And not just a perceived one, because that is the marketing tricks they all use. And then, by the way, if you question, well, where should I make content? Again, I cover that in the workshop, but here's already a thing. It doesn't matter. You see this here? We have YouTube over here. Can be any platform, but I'm biased, right? Like anyone. So I put YouTube over here because I care about YouTube the most, right? I've been on YouTube since 2012. I know it the best out of all the platforms. Also because I watch a lot of YouTube. And I have a lot of experience creating videos on YouTube. Created over 700 videos on YouTube. But you don't have to pick YouTube, have to pick a specific platform. You probably already picked one. right? The decision has already been made. It's not about making a decision, which is always interesting. People always think I need to do something, but they're already doing something, right? Anyways, and then we have Instagram over here, just to get 3 important high quality platforms for most people. Again, there is a truth to be found here, very specifically for yourself. I cover more about that in the workshop, but there is a most effective platform for you. And so far, I've found that YouTube is the most effective platform for me. After that, LinkedIn, after that, Insta. So that's how my priorities are. You can pick one. You don't have to be on everywhere. However, you can do the rest by being here in that sweet spot, by just repurposing this stuff. I may talk about that more later in future videos, how I repurpose very efficiently with high quality, nothing AI written or created, but still without very, very little time on my end. For now, just see the truth. Every platform can work. There's one that is most effective. It's worth figuring out which one. And in the workshop, I show you exactly how you can figure out which one through practical ways and data. Right? Otherwise, it's just a belief, and you may create content on Instagram for years. Don't really focus on LinkedIn or YouTube or another platform. And then you start to experiment later and find out, wow, I should have focused on YouTube or I should have focused on LinkedIn, because you know there's a big spike in revenue, which, by the way, happens a lot. It's a very common thing, which again comes back to the game you play. Are you playing the YouTube game, the Instagram game, LinkedIn game? All of them a little bit. To give you a personal story, I thought that I was playing the money game. That wasn't true. After I really looked hard in the mirror. Why, do you ask? Well, I did over $4.5 million in revenue, but made very little profit. I hired over 50 people, not because it made me more profit, but because I cared about other people way more than I cared about profit. Whereas this is what I really needed, and probably you as well. Which, by the way, to clarify, is freedom from money. And if you now start to focus, like all the silly billies, on this silly billy timeline, which may take 2 years, 5 years, to finally see that it only made you very little money, or not at all, perhaps even made you a loss, then do that. But I can tell you one thing, life is a precious thing to waste, my friend. So may you rid yourself of untruth, so that this one goes up, or whatever you want. Whether, if it's not money and you want more time on your end, well, money has a big role there, but you get the point. May you rid yourself of untruth. And when you do, you may find that you can only post one video every 2 weeks and still make over $5,000 a month in profit with less than 1,000 subscribers by focusing on the right side of YouTube, not the left one. And with that, I mean all the silly billies out there, because they won't get you there, or they will. Then you don't need 1,000, you probably need more than 100,000 subscribers, which is fine as well. Just find out what is more fast for you to get to. What is the most efficient, effective way? After all, that's what we care about, right? And not about how much hard work we put in. Which, by the way, isn't true. With that, I mean, you may actually want to show off how hard you worked, which is another thing you may have to look at, if that's actually what you want more than money. And then when you do, this starts to happen. And you will be surprised how many people actually want what you have already, with as little wasted time as possible. Again, just enter in your email for the Followers to Freedom workshop to find out exactly how you can get these people instead of all the silly billies. Because you are only 1,000 people away from all the freedom you ever wanted. They need to be the right people. Otherwise, you may need many viral videos. As always, I care about the truth. And if you found truth in this video, then I'm sure you like this one too. Talk soon.